Happy Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. It is your hump day. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel, coming at you on this, what feels like an early morning right now. But glad to see you in here with me this morning. If you check out the content, I'm a little slow getting going here right now, so I apologize for that. But I did a series I said a series. I did a video last week, and I ended up turning it into, I called it a part one. The pitchers, basically, how will the MLB draft affect Tennessee? And I started out and it went into the pitchers. I went a little long and I just stopped at that. I'm just going to hit it all today on this. I'm going to get it out there. The Major League Baseball draft starts this weekend on Sunday. I can't remember if it's around 5 or 6 o'clock. They'll do a couple rounds on Sunday. It goes more into, all right, I'm thinking it's like rounds 3 through 10 on Monday and then more on Tuesday. I know it goes to the 14th through the 16th, but I can't remember exactly how they do it. But there's some way they break it up. I'm thinking the last 10 rounds go on Tuesday. Actually, sometime I think they normally start around noon or so. 20 rounds is how long they go. So how will Tennessee be affected? I think it's pretty well expected there's going to be a plethora of talent for Tennessee that's drafted, not only from the current team, or if you put it all together, the current team and signees. Any JUCO guys, I think, or possibly any guys that commit are potential risks. Of course, any of your high school guys. I can't give you an accurate reading on the high school guys. I've talked about the high school talent. I'll link again here to end that high school class. If you've not checked out that video, I've talked about guys I feel could. I mean, any of these dudes ranked top 200-300. That's according to perfectgame.com. I mean, any of them are a possibility. Now, I don't know asking prices. I don't know which guys are dead set they're coming to college or any of that. I've not seen any of that, and I really don't know how you get that information unless you just try to contact the people directly, which I don't know that at this point in time I would get any responses. But starting with the pitching, and I'll kind of revisit that from last week. Here's what I know from the rotation: Stamos out of eligibility. AJ Causey's one to watch. I think he gets drafted. I'm curious, did Omaha hurt his stock with his 2 outings in Omaha, with everyone watching on that? The interesting thing to me is I've seen he is pitching in the Cape Cod League this summer. So that makes me wonder, is he preparing to come back next year? Is he pitching, just in case? Just depends on what's happening. I mean, there's going to be more guys in that Cape Cod League get drafted. Let's make no mistake about that. But I think Causey is drafted. I would be really surprised if he comes back. I mean, I'm putting it at, if you need a percentage, I'd say there's 75% chance that he's gone. But I mean, there is that possibility of it. Drew Beam is going to be a high round pick somewhere first, probably 3 rounds is my guess. He's gone. Xander Sechrist out of eligibility. I'm hoping to see him get drafted as well. I think it'll be interesting, especially the way he finished the season, to see if somebody will give him a shot. If not through the draft, does he sign an undrafted free agent contract? Possibly. I think both those are possibilities, or I say both of them. I think at worst case, the undrafted free agent route is a possibility for him. I think somebody, after what he's done at the end of the year, has to give this dude a chance. So that's your rotation. Now looking to bullpen. Really your only guys I think will be affected. Of course, Kirby Connell's out of eligibility. I would love to see a team give him an opportunity. I still think there's a place in the game for a guy who can throw that mid to high 90s, has good breaking stuff, has good location. I mean, there was guys who are Hall of Famers based on that type stuff. I'm not saying Kirby Connell's a future Hall of Famer. I'm just saying the major league, they've got more about analytics, opposed to they would rather have throwers than pitchers. Sometimes Kirby Connell's a pitcher. There are guys in the majors who are throwers. They can throw hard. You don't know where it's going. Sometimes there's guys throughout the minors like that. Yeah, they can throw hard. Where's it going to go? a lot of times. There's a big difference between a thrower and a pitcher. I'll take a pitcher any day of the week who can actually locate. A thrower, sure, there's going to be times where their control is on and they're really hard to hit. There's also those other times where they're walking 2 to 3 guys and they're out the game pretty quick. Uh, I would love to see Kirby get a shot. We'll see. Does the team give him, same with Sechrist? Do they take a late shot on him or undrafted free agent? Based on what I've heard, I think it's more likely he's a part of the coaching staff next year. But you never know. Teams may see what he did this year. We debated on it, some good, some bad. Overall, though, it's hard to. He did great things for Tennessee baseball. I'd like to see him get a shot, but Cannell's out of eligibility. Aaron Combs, that's another one. I would put him about 90% chance he's drafted. I think there's a small percent chance, maybe not, but I can't imagine, especially the way he was. He started out the year rough, and then down the stretch, I mean, he was excellent. I think he's another one, probably around the 10th, in that 10th to 15th round range is my guess. Probably the same with Causey. Causey may be 15 to 20, possibly. But I expect Combs to be gone. Really, other than that, Nate Snead is back. Marcus Phillips is back. Dylan Loy's back. Banky is back. I'm trying to think. All your guys who pitched midweek who did not hit the portal. These guys are going to be back. And now you've added, of course, Liam Doyle last night from Ole Miss. You added Tanner Franklin from Kennesaw State. Do they add any more? They had the guy Ianson from San Diego on campus. There's some big-time talent after him. Cade Fisher from Florida was on campus. From what I've seen, Wake Forest. He visited Wake Forest, and from what I've seen, he's actually said it's come out that Wake Forest is leading, so he's bought into the pitching lab BS that they're feeding over there. I said it last night, and I'll say it again. I'll take the Frank Anderson lab any day of the week over the Wake Forest lab. The results are what they are. I've watched the Braves draft at least a couple guys as first rounders, and they were flops. We heard about all his pitching talent this year. They didn't even make it out. They didn't even win a game in the NCAA tournament. That pitching lab it's overrated. I'm not saying it's bad by any means, but it's not what it's cracked up to be either. I bet if you honestly ask Chase Burns, he'll tell you he wished he would have stayed with Frank Anderson last year. But you live and you learn, I guess. But other than that, other than the guys that hit the portal, the rest of the guys will be back. Then it turns to your MLB draft. Does your guys like Anson Siebert, Tegan Coons, that's your highest ranked pitchers coming in. There's others. Don't get me wrong. I've seen Siebert likely and Coons unlikely. Now, I don't know what that's based on. I don't know if that's intel from draft experts or where that's come from. I want to do some more searching around on that to kind of see where it's at. But you got to think with the draft class this highly rated. The thing of it is, though, according to Perfect Game, Tennessee's highest ranked guy is like 35th. So it's not loaded with just those top 10 guys that are gone. So I would give this class at least a 75% chance of all. Let me rephrase that. I would say this draft class, at least 75% of it, or signing class, will make it to campus. And that includes your JUCO guys as well. There's going to be guys get drafted and not make it to campus. It happens pretty much every year. With the number one ranked class, it's going to happen again as well. I talked about that a lot in my video when I talked about this signing class. And I'll link that at the end for you as well. And then we get to the positions. We look at what we know. Cal Stark is gone, and I'm hoping to see Cal Stark get that opportunity. Tony Vitello has been really endorsing him to get drafted. And, here's what we know. It won't be because of his bat as of right now. Now, what we know, Cal Stark, The Cal Stark I saw the last night was a Cal Stark who impressed me more with the bat than at any point. And I think he went 1 for 3, but he was putting the ball in play against pretty good pitchers for Texas A&M as well. Too often with him, it was really strikeout or home run, and he would walk occasionally as well. But it was really one of more or less feast or famine, and that was true in the College World Series. He had a rough College World Series up until the last games. Hit that big 2-run home run in Game 2 of the championship series, and then just putting the ball in play in Game 3. You're putting the ball in play. You're at least giving your team a shot to move some guys and do stuff like that. But his catching ability, you mark it down. It's going to become a thing around. He had what? It was either 7 or 8 picks to first base, back picks to first base. That's going to become a thing throughout your youth ranks, your middle, your high school ranks. You'll see it more in college. You'll see it in the minors and the majors. You wait and see if that doesn't become more of a thing. And maybe it's already happening around. I know that. But with Cal Stark and so many of those being televised out there, the times he did it in the SEC tournament, he did it in the College World Series. These catchers out here, man, need to be taking note of a guy like Cal Stark and being aware you can pick any base on it. I think his catching ability gets him an opportunity. Now, the bat, we've seen catchers, most times your catchers are not offensive juggernauts. I say most of the time. You have your guys like JT Realmuto, your Mike Piazzas, guys like that. Just for example, and I know it goes further back in history to, guys back before my time. I can only speak on, Gary Carter was a heck of a catcher in his day. Pudge Rodriguez, some of these guys, great catchers, Hall of Famers, well-deserved. Realmuto, not yet, obviously, since he's still playing, but you get what I'm saying on it. Most of your catchers, though, they're in there to catch a baseball game. They're in there to handle a pitching staff. I think Cal Stark gets an opportunity based on that. If it's, I think there's I think there's a chance he gets drafted. If not, somebody will sign him undrafted. I think for sure on that one. The infield's pretty easy. The infield and outfield are both pretty easy to project here. Blake Burke is going to be, I'd say, somewhere in the top 3. Your next 5 guys are, I think, we'll say this, worst case, they will be drafted within the first 5 rounds. And I think this is just being lenient on their I guess their floor versus their ceiling on it. Blake Burke, Christian Moore, Billy Amick, Kavaris Tears, Dylan Dreiling will all be at least, at worst, top 5 round picks. At worst. I think they'll all be probably top 3 rounds. So those 5, they're gone. Hunter Ensley, I was adamant I thought he would get drafted. He announced yesterday he's coming back. He'd said it on it. He's been telling the coaching staff all offseason he's coming back. And they didn't believe him. So I don't know if that's just something he decided he wants one more year. I don't know if there's some intel or some what he may have heard regarding his draft stock, but he's coming back. I think it was a big boost for Tennessee. It led to a big day yesterday with getting Liam Doyle and Andrew Fisher from Ole Miss. I've seen some people saying, well, that team will be close to this year. This team was the greatest single-season baseball team in SEC history. They had arguably the greatest offense in college baseball history this year. Let's don't put stuff that this team coming back next year is going to be near as good as this one. It's going to be good. All right. I don't know that there's Christian Moore's, Billy Amick's, Blake Burke's, Kavaris Tears, Dylan Dreilings. There will be guys take steps. Let's make no mistake about it. That was 5 absolute studs. All right. 5 studs in that lineup. Were they perfect? No. Were there times that, the strikeouts were a little high and stuff? Yes. 5 studs in that lineup. You're not finding a better, I know Tears was hitting 6th. You're not finding a better top 6 in all college baseball this past year. And I'd like to go back over the years to find me where there's been another top 6 as good as that one, period. Uh, what a great lineup this year. Again, best offense, SEC history, best team, single season team in SEC history. There's no argument about it. There's no argument from Vanderbilt. There's no argument from anyone else. They set the single season win record. They won the SEC conference. They won the SEC tournament. They won the national championship. End of discussion. So Tennessee's going to have those 5 guys to replace. You're going to have to replace first base, second, third, but they may have that in-house as far as what happens with Dean Curley. 2 of your corner outfielders are going to be gone. So basically what Tennessee has returning in their lineup, you have Hunter Inslee, you have Dean Curley. We know those 2. They're going to be in the lineup every day. After that, I think there's a real good possibility it's Cannon Peebles at catcher. A guy I did not mention that I think is a major draft risk as well is Eric Radicek from Niagara, who committed 2 days ago. Just hearing him talk about it seems like he has done his research. He's looked at all these scenarios of guys when they've come back, no matter where they've played. And we saw it with Dalton Connect with the NBA draft. He dropped because of his age. It wasn't anything else other than because he was 23 years old. They were taking guys 18 and 19 or around 19 that aren't half the basketball players that Dalton Connect is. But they did it because of age. Radicek, same thing with him. 23 years old, played at San Diego, played junior college, went to Niagara, had a great year, one of their greatest single seasons in their program history. If he makes it to campus, he's going to be a big pickup for Tennessee. But based on the interview I read, I think it was on 24/7 Sports with Ben McKee, he really went through the scenarios, was very detailed, very thorough in it. If he gets drafted, I don't think he makes it to campus. And because he talks about he's 23 years old now. The people he's talked to, they've mentioned his age to him. So, if he were just to decide, hey, I want to play another year and boost my stock, he's going to be 24 years old. That's only going to become more of a detriment to him, being the age. So, I know the guy has said he's fired up to play in Knoxville. But at the same time, man, it's a major league draft. And where he's at now, I think he's a significant draft risk. I would put it at a 20% chance he makes it to campus. I said 40-60 Monday night when I did the live show. I've come down even more. I'm going to say best case 20% he makes it. And I hope it works out how he wants it to. That's what I hope. Would I love to have him in Knoxville? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Would add big time to this offense. But, a guy has a hope and a dream, and he's put in his work. He's done, some good things in college. That Niagara team, they were in the NCAA tournament this past season. He's earned it if he gets an opportunity. So he's a risk, a significant draft risk, not as much as the other guys who are 100% gone. Moore, Burke, Amick, Dowling, Tears, 100% gone. Beam, 100% gone. Other guys, there's some possibilities there. Those guys, though, no doubt, great Vols. Thank you to all of them for what they've done for Tennessee baseball. Now it's time to, wish them the best in their next step in their journey, in their career, and hopefully see them in the big show one day as well. But coming back, Cannon Peebles, catcher. You're going to have Stone Lawless. I'm curious to see their signee, Levi Clark. Does he he's listed as a catcher. He can play numerous positions. Most of these guys in the draft class that are position guys can move around, can play different positions. Most of your best players are your best athletes, and they can move around. I've seen that over the years. Does Levi Clark make it to campus? That'd be interesting to see. He's ranked in the top 40, perfectgame.com. If he makes it to campus, it'd be a big-time pickup for them. Plenty of infielders, plenty of shortstops in that top 100 for Tennessee out of out of their top 100 class. Do any of those guys make it based on what's on campus? That infield's going to be something else come fall with Andrew Fisher, Dean Curley, Gavin Keelan from Louisville, Ariel Antigua. It's going to be a knockdown drag out for positions. And then your outfield, there's some other guys infield, a Blake Grimmer, an Alex Perry. I'm not including the high school guys yet. If those guys make it to campus, oh my gosh, the talent level is insane down there. A Hunter High, some of these dudes. And then you look at Dalton Bargo could factor in there. Bargo could actually factor in a corner outfield spot. I mean, with your outfield, you're looking at, of course, Inslee. You're going to be looking at Reese Chapman. I feel confident he'll be one of the corner outfielders. Where does Colby Backus factor in, or does he factor in? What about Dalton Bargo, Cole Eaton? I think Braden Sharp, he's listed as outfielder pitcher. I think I've seen that they're focusing primarily on pitcher with him. But, Cannon Alex Perry at 6'4", 206, can he play the outfield? I'm not sure on that one. I'm going down the line here. Of course, Charlie Taylor will be back at catcher if he chooses to be. I mentioned Bargo, Backus. Let's see, where else? Stone Lawless will be one of the catchers. A lot of potential with him. I mentioned Blake Grimmer, who come in listed as a shortstop, but he's playing. I think he's a possibility at first base. Hunter High can play numerous places. And that looks, and like I said, Cole Eaton as well. He wasn't on the active roster this year, but he is still with the team. He was highly regarded coming in, playing outfield. He's playing in the California League right now, actually. So I hadn't looked on his stats, but I've heard he's doing some pretty good things and that they're very high on him going forward. So, it's not Tennessee's losing some big time talent, but it's not a rebuild. It is a reload. This Tennessee team next year is still going to be absolutely loaded with talent. As good as this year, I don't think they're realistic. Can they win a national championship again next year? I think so. I think their pitching's going to be very good, possibly even better and deeper. It's not realistic to expect that lineup to be what this year's was, but can it be really good? Yes. My projection on the 2025 lineup is not as good as 24, not as good as 22, better than 23 and 21 though. So I would put them still a little ways behind 22, but probably a good ways better than the 23 lineup, who still made it to Omaha that season. But good times happen on Rocky Top. It's only going to be better this weekend. As far as I think I heard that Tony Vitello is going to be on draft coverage this weekend as well on the MLB Network. So it'll be cool to see him out there. And going to be a lot of guys to celebrate this weekend. Current Vols and the guys that don't make it to campus, same with them, man. Best of luck to them. Hope they do awesome. If they don't, but I think a good portion of them do make it to campus. There will be some that won't, though. It's just the nature of it. Been a lot of content this week. Monday night we talked baseball. I went hour and 40 minutes, and I would say that a good hour and probably 30 minutes, maybe an hour and 20 minutes of it was baseball talk. So if you get a chance, I know that's a lot of time. If you're on a long drive or something, we talked a lot of baseball Monday night. Me and I fed off of the chat on that. Recorded a video about Hunter Inslee coming back, about Radicek from Niagara committing, about the Ole Miss duo committing last night. Had a baseball video Sunday about the current draft class as well. If you want to find these on my YouTube channel, if you go under playlist 2024 baseball off season, you can find all that stuff on there. All portal talk, all high school class stuff. It is in that playlist. But I'm going to wrap up on that one. I hope you guys have an awesome Wednesday. If you like the content, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Biggest thing, it helps me is word of mouth. And I didn't even mention this. 1,500 subscribers as of last night. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. 1,500. At this point in the year, I expected to be at about 600. That was my goal, 100 a month coming out. Smoked that out of the water at this point. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for sharing out the content. Cannot say enough about how thankful I am for it. Just a guy out here who wanted to do his own channel. I'm not out here to compete with anyone. I'm out here to do my own thing. I have my own goals with it, and those goals are not to mess with other people. It's about, this channel is about me doing what I want to do and providing you with coverage that I'm not seeing fully out there. There's been good baseball coverage this year. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away from anyone out there, but as far as the thoroughness of it with the draft classes, the high school recruiting, that's where I'm aiming to provide more things. And hopefully here in the near future, I can start getting some players, future players and stuff on here as well. I think that's a possibility. And then, of course, with football and basketball around the corner, we'll keep hitting that as well. But, last thing, if you haven't already, you like the content, make sure you hit that subscribe button also. But my name's Frank Rock. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Go Vols, and I will see you when I see you.